At the beginning of Black Panther, we find King T'Chaka narrating the origins of Wakanda to a then-young Prince T'Challa. In the story, we learn of a meteor that strikes the Earth centuries ago. As a result of this impact, King T'Chaka explains that it is this strike which led to the creation of Wakanda. My theory after watching the film is that it's not the heart-shaped herb itself per se, but the meteorite that struck Wakanda that is the Soul Stone, that generated vibranium encasing it and sprouted the heart-shaped herbs. If you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe and click that notification bell for future movie news, reviews, reactions, and analysis. Let's talk about meteors. When an inbound meteor impacts, sometimes, considering the velocity, the strike could create what's referred to as impactites or tektites. It's effectively two types of crater glass where, because of the intensity of the impact, the surrounding rocks and debris melt and become melded into one. What if vibranium is not the meteorite itself, but what was generated as a result of the impact of the Soul Stone with the surface of the Earth? Granted, this is presuming that the tale that had been passed down was wrong, that the Wakandans misunderstood what was created as a result of the impact versus what had actually crashed. Now, that's theory number one regarding the role of vibranium and the Soul Stone. More likely, however, is this. Similar to how the Power Stone was encased within an orb, I'd argue that it is the vibranium itself that is serving as the casing to the Soul Stone. One would need the strongest substance in the universe to house something as powerful as the Soul Stone. We also saw this kind of encasement with the Mind Gem and the Ether, so already there's precedent. Now let's focus back on the prologue for a bit. As King T'Chaka continues his narration, we see this gorgeous animation depict the effect of the impact. While we see a bit of a shockwave, more importantly, almost like vines originating from the impact zone, you see it spreading across the plane. And T'Chaka even says it himself, it affects plant life, animal life, everything, which is what led to their exponential advancement in comparison to everyone else. So we know that there's already a unique power of force inherent in this meteorite, but more importantly, it's a force of creation. Now, the idea that the Soul Stone would be a meteorite is appropriate. Granted, this is an obvious argument, but meteors come from outer space, the cosmos. We know that the Infinity Stones, or gems, whichever designation you prefer, also come from outer space. Specifically, the Infinity Stones come from the cosmic entities, which include entropy, eternity, infinity, and death. They took the 6 singularities that represented various aspects of the universe and forged them into the Infinity Stones. Now, why the Soul Stone would go careening towards Earth and was not in the care of a handler, I don't know. But the meteor's impact did look reminiscent as to when one of the Elders was shown destroying a planet when he was wielding the Power Gem and it touched the planet's surface in Guardians of the Galaxy. However, in this case, once the Soul Stone touched the surface of the Earth, it created life. Also of interest is this dichotomy, this play on opposites, where the destruction came about using the Power Gem and is the antithesis to the life that's created via the Soul Stone. And that matches back to the cosmic entities themselves, entropy versus infinity and eternity versus death. But let's shift gears for a minute and focus back on the powers of the herb itself. Once one ingests the heart-shaped herb and is buried, one enters the ancestral plane, the Djalia, that features the spirits of the deceased. And while in the context of this film it's limited to the spirits of the royal family, I'd wager that if Tony Stark followed the same ritual, he'd see his mother and father. And I say that because of the separation in the film of T'Challa, who was with the kings and queens from before, versus Killmonger and his father, Prince N'Jobu. At the point in which Prince N'Jobu has been relegated to Killmonger's envisioned apartment, one could say that it's because he'd been banished and cast away in the afterlife. However, he's still there. Killmonger can still meet with his dad, so the Djalia can't have a limitation on who's in and who's not. It can't have a limitation that it's the royal family alone that have passed that are in good standing. Second, during the description concerning the powers of the herb and what's bestowed upon those who ingest it, not at any one point is it ever mentioned that its power and ability to transcend into the Djalia is limited to the royal bloodline alone. If anything, as its central theme in this film, it seems to be only ritual that dictates that the next in succession can ingest it. Another kind of obvious point that we're dealing with something related to the Soul Stone is the ritual itself. Aside from ingesting the herb, part of the process to speak with the deceased is to be buried. Moreover, the idea of entering the Djalia is that as your body remains buried, it's your soul that transcends into this plane. Now that's something that the Soul Stone, or in this case something created by the Soul Stone, the heart-shaped herb, would be able to facilitate. Last, we can look to the trailers for Avengers Infinity War to know that Wakanda is in possession of the Soul Stone. It would not be coincidence that the Avengers would face off against the forces of Thanos in Wakanda. So what is there of import that they have to protect? Now my goal in making this video was not just to say where the Soul Stone is, but to explain what it is. But those are my thoughts. What are yours? Do you believe the Soul Stone is in Wakanda, or do you believe the Heimdall theory? Do you have a contrasting theory? Let me know down in the comments below. Please subscribe so that you're notified in your newsfeed when the next video is uploaded. Please remember to give this video a like and share it about. Help support this channel through Patreon and using any of the affiliate links in the description below. You people are awesome, as always. And thanks for watching.